listening to a band of gamers podcasting since 2012. Three older best mates share a few laughs and keep you current with discussions about the latest news, consoles, and games. Join the conversation and the community. abandofgamers.com. Hey, welcome back. What's going on? ABOG. We got a good one for you. Oh, I talked over Shane. Go ahead, buddy.
Nah, man, I'm just a little fired up, man.
Yeah.
Let's go, boys. Yucca.
Heck yeah, we got a great episode. I'm all fired up, ready to go. Will Nintendo be announcing a new Switch model this week?
What?
And just as we suspected, a big game for PlayStation won't be released this year, they announced.
No.
Sony's changing course a little bit, stepping back on some prior commentary. We're going to discuss what that is and kind of get our thoughts on that. We got what's in our pint glasses. We got three really, really good beers. We always do, but I don't know, man. Looks like these ones might be the best yet.
It's looking like it.
And then I've got my impressions. As I mentioned in the last show, I picked up a PS5. I've played Astro's Playground. I got one of them Pulse 3D headsets. Give my thoughts on the PlayStation 5. These guys will probably ask me a few questions, help keep me going there. And then I've got an easy but rewarding 8-hour trophy for you PlayStation. I have an e-penis. What's going on?
Yes.
Colin
and I've known that.
It's a great episode here. Thank you for joining us. You can listen to our past shows everywhere podcasts are available. I usually list those off, but you're smart enough to know where you can go grab a podcast. Look for us there. Be sure and subscribe or follow, whatever the vocab is on that app. I'm Joel, your MC, recording in Brookfield, Wisconsin, USA. Joining me on this journey now for 8 years. It's a long podcast journey. My two best mates, first of all, from Birmingham, England. All of my people right here, right now. It's Carl. Hey, Carl.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's me. Hello. Back for another, it's going to be a rip-roaring episode, man. I'm looking forward to this. We'll see how that PS5 is sitting in Joel's hands.
Hell yeah. I haven't showered. I hope that's okay, guys. Now, luckily, you're on a Zoom call. I think that'll work out all right here.
Since you had the PS5?
No, I mean, just today. Man, yeah, it'd be pretty slimy at that point. From Vancouver, Canada, that guy laughing over there, the fool on the hill, and I feel fine. It's Shane. I love the Beatles references. Yes.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Heck yeah. I don't know what Carl's meant.
It's Oasis, man.
Ah, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Nope, apparently not.
Yeah, they got the Net Worth documentary coming out.
Net Worth? Is that Netflix in Canada?
No, Net Worth was is in England.
Oh. And
Oasis did 2 nights there. And there's about both nights there's like 250,000 people that showed up. They're the largest single act bill concerts in history. And they're amazing. And there's a documentary coming out later this year about them, and it's going to be brilliant.
Sweet. Dude. All right, into the news here. Switch Pro. Well, that's the rumor, is that the Nintendo's going to be announcing a new Switch SKU, that it's going to be a Pro, or whatever they name it. It's going to be an upgraded Switch with potentially 4K graphics, maybe a better OLED screen, hopefully better Joy-Cons with a proper D-pad would be cool. Bloomberg reported. I was going to read from the article there. Nintendo plans to begin assembly of its new Switch as soon as July and release the upgraded replacement for its 4-year-old game console in September or October. People familiar with the matter said.
Is it really 4 years old?
It's 4 years old.
Wow.
The new console, likely to be priced higher than the original $299, may be announced ahead of E3, which starts later this week, right? This next weekend.
Yep.
And the announcement would allow publishers to showcase their full range of Switch games at that global E3 event. And yep, somebody asked to not be named in this source here for Bloomberg. It will be sold alongside the $199 Switch Lite, with the standard Switch phased out over time. So the rumor goes even further to say that there'll be this new Switch. The other one will go away. All we'll have left will be this, whatever this new one is, the Pro, and the Switch Lite will be the 2 SKUs for Nintendo. You buying one now, Shane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, It'll be good. It'll be good. We'll see, if it's not portable or whatever, or who knows. It'll probably be pretty badass. And at this point, there's probably 4 years into the console's life cycle. There's probably no better time to get A Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's got a good what life cycle is now 8 to 10 years probably, so it's got a good 4 or 5 years in it for sure. I mean, I just can't believe it's been 4 years. Mine's sat under the television, and half the time I feel guilty because I don't play it enough.
Really?
And now I'm thinking, yeah, and now I'm like, I need to give some love, man.
I hope that the piqued my interest is the upgraded Joy-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I got some old fashioned ball mitt hands, so those smaller Joy-Cons weren't the greatest for me. But yeah, man, let's go, man. Let's see what they got. It's probably, you know what? In typical ABOG fashion, we usually talk about this stuff. We record on the Sunday, and then usually the next day, the Monday, all of a sudden, all this news drops. So
yeah, that would. Yeah,
man, it's really cool to see they announced the Switch Pro. That was an amazing reveal they had.
Not saying we're in the know, but you know.
Yeah. Do you think it'll happen? You think this will be announced this week? Do you think this is all true? It's got to be, right?
It's been picking up a lot of steam.
I mean, that's some pretty concrete rumor right there. Like it's going to start, they're start making it in July, release it September, October. We can't cite our source, but they work at Nintendo, and no, I made that up. But they come on, this is happening.
Yeah.
I reckon all that's been delaying is just the technology, just trying to get hold of the components because of COVID and stuff. You know, they've probably got it on the back burner for so long, and now they're just ready to go.
Yeah, and they'll probably have their messaging all solid and ready to go as well. Because if it's going to be an upgraded console, a pro version, what are they going to do with the games? Are they going to have, like Xbox is doing, have all the games work on both systems? Or are they going to have some games only work on the new system? And they got to iron all that out and make sure that messaging is tight. Because we don't want that Wii U thing happening again, right? Where people go to the store, buy a Wii U game, take it home, put it in the Wii, and it doesn't work. And they're like, what? It says Wii on it. There's some poor messaging on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the games will be the same. If you remember, the 3DS and the before they moved across to the Switch, you had that. I think it was like Hyrule Warriors, which was on the 3DS, but barely playable. You know, it was so rough, and then obviously same game, boom, across to the Switch and runs great. So it'll just be that we'll just get the extra performance boost. And who doesn't like a little boost?
Yeah, Nintendo hasn't been worried about the graphics. I mean, their graphics are solid. Breath of the Wild, Carl, comes to mind. Solid graphics in that game.
Lots of fog, you know.
Whatever.
Small draw distance, you know. But no, I'm kidding. It's a great. It is a good game. Like I almost said great. Then it's not. It's good. Yeah, Shane can be the icebreaker on that one. Like, right. You know, when he gets his Switch, he can be like, right, is it on Joel's side or is it on Carl's side? Where does it sit? But yeah, there's loads of great games on the Switch. Like it is the indie machine. You know, if there's an indie game you want to play, you know, it's on there. It's a great little device.
I'll be curious to see, though, because it's going to have a new chip to be able to do that 4K. It's going to have more computing power if they're going to beef it up quite a bit. Because we've got PS5 and Xbox Series X and S out now. The other two have stepped it up a little bit with their computer power. Is Nintendo going to start to bridge that gap a little bit? And I suspect that they will. Maybe. They just still seem to care about the power race, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, now that they've proven that the whole Joy-Cons and the whole idea behind the Switch works, and it's working very, very well, and they got the games there and that classic Nintendo charm and everything they're doing right. Yeah, now's the time. Let's beat this up. We're in for the long run with this machine. You know, let's take it, you know, to that next gen. You know, and good on them for doing it. You know, good on them for seeing it. Dropped it a little bit early, a few years early, and here we are.
It's just going to print money, you guys.
Oh, hand over fist butter.
Yeah, they make a console in a new color and it prints money. But I think it's time. I want to see that live on in a nice, like the other consoles have done. PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X. They had that step in between before they got to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So I think it's a good idea here with the Switch, and it's about that time. In other news, God of War, which was, I think, originally supposed to come out in 2021, although I think we haven't really seen a whole lot for it just yet, but now they're saying 2022 is when that game's going to be released. And obviously, we've got COVID, and we've had all this stuff this year. It's not a surprise. A lot of the big games, we haven't had the full working environment that you need to get these games in their normal window. So you can expect a lot of games to be pushed out, but I know this is a big one on a lot of our radar. And 2022 for God of War, and no date. Could be end of the year, I would suspect.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think there's a bit of a mad rush to kind of cash in on the Pandini with both Microsoft and the Sony consoles to get them out into the market, and hopefully cash in on people staying home and whatnot. And yeah, it's going to be a bit for some of these heavy hitters. And it's all good though. It's all good though. Supply will be back. Get them into more hands, and then start dropping start hitting those dingers.
Yeah, and why not drop the news, the week or two before E3? It makes sense. Oh, sorry, it's not out. It's not about 2021. Everyone moans a little bit. A couple of weeks later, here's the footage. People soon get excited for 2022 again, don't they? So I am a bit disappointed. Like I was looking forward to this year. A couple of other games, obviously, Returnal's great, and I'm looking forward to Ratchet & Clank, but God of War was the one, given how great the kind of the reboot, if you will, was on PS4. I was really stoked for this, but yeah, guess we got to wait a little bit longer. Just more time to get that backlog, I suppose.
There's a rumor that Horizon Zero Dawn, or what's it called? Horizon Zero Forbidden West. These titles sometimes. Also may release next year. They did not announce that officially. That's a rumor. They did say, though, Gran Turismo 7, also a 2022 release. So that was also mentioned as a game getting pushed out, or not, at least. I don't know if they officially have ever said the date, but it's not going to be this year. More interesting news, though, to me, is that they also announced that God of War and Gran Turismo 7 are going to be releasing on the PlayStation 5, of course, and the PlayStation 4. Both those games going to be available on both consoles.
Kind of explains why they're pushed back a little bit.
That would be, but I just recall, though.
Yes.
I remember when they were touting their wares for which console. We're giving you all the details on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X, both companies, Microsoft and Sony. There's, look at little jabs at each other, right? As they're trying to get the market to buy their product over the other. And Sony said, because Xbox was putting, I can step back. We'll step back like 14 times before I'll actually get to the damn point. Xbox was talking about our games are on all our consoles. You can play it on the Series S. You can play it on the Series X. But don't worry, if you don't buy a Series model, you can still play it on your Xbox One. It's okay. Our games will be on all the systems. And PlayStation had a little jab there back at them and said, we're making proper next-gen games. And everybody went, and all their fans got really happy with that. Like, yes.
Yeah.
But here they reversed course on that. God of War and Gran Turismo 7 on PlayStation 5, but now also on PlayStation 4. And what will it do to those games? Will they not be the full potential if they're making them for both consoles? I mean, that's logically what's going to happen, right? You can't be as next gen, if you will, if they put it out on both. So what do you guys think of this? They're stepping back, changing their tune on this one a little bit after everybody's bought one. Oh yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Well, the supply demand for supply is, if everybody was able to get a PS5 or whatnot, they're not building it for a PS4. There's not a chance. They're going the full 9 with it, and because there is such issues with supply, you're gonna have to. I mean, Gran Turismo. I mean, that's a system selling franchise. And any way you look at any major racing game, same with Forza, same thing. They are system selling franchises. They're
the shiny ones, aren't they? They're like, oh, just going to show off the console.
They're the best each manufacturer, each console has to offer in the racing genre, and that is absolutely huge in the gaming, and underestimated in the gaming community. We can go down a whole other rabbit hole with EA buying Codemasters and all that, but we're not going to go there this episode. But it explains why they're pushing back and putting them out on the PS4 in the meantime. And then when they come out when people get that PS5, I'm almost certain you'll have that there. They did it for MLB The Show, and I think they're going to do it with Zero Dawn, Gran Turismo. They'll be there waiting for you when you do get that PlayStation 5.
Yeah. I think we've seen there's so many games on the PS4 now which have PS5 boost modes and all the rest of it. Like Shane says, a lack of supply plus time equals why not just make a less less intensive version and sell it, and then when these people get PS5s, you can give them a free upgrade or sell it again if you really feel that dirty. It does make sense. As to your point, Joel, about does it take a string out of the bow? Believing in generations, true next gen games. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. I don't think it damages them per se, but it certainly brings down the argument. If you're a fanboy of Sony and you're like, we got God of War, it's only on PS5, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, actually, I can still play that on my PS4. Okay, it might not look as good, but let's be fair, God of War, and Horizon look damn good on PS4 anyway. So yeah, I think when you come down to the end of the year and you're looking at a handful of PS5 only exclusives, which is probably not what they were aiming for. But if they sell these games again on PS4, I don't think they'll really care.
And they've got a giant install base on PlayStation 4. So if they want to print money like Nintendo does with those Switches, you're going to release God of War to the limited supply of PlayStation 5 owners. Put it on PS4 and you've got just this giant install base. Make a lot more money putting it on both.
Yes, definitely. You got to hit those. They have to hit those early sales marks. You have to hit those early numbers, and it's going to be their way of having to do it.
Does that slow people down a little bit though from getting PlayStation 5? And you said it yourself, Shane. The Gran Turismo 7 is a system seller. If you only put it on PlayStation 5, you've got a lot of people who are like, well, now I need a PlayStation 5. If you put it on PlayStation 4, now they're going to say, potentially, I can wait. I don't need a PlayStation 5 just yet. Maybe I need Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. But I think Gran Turismo is a bigger franchise than even Ratchet and Clank as far as moving a system.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. They have to keep, as long as they keep those PS5 exclusive titles, which they do need, you have to do this. You can't be playing both sides of the fence. You want to sell the new product. That's the goal. You need to sell those PlayStation 5s, those Series X's. You need to get those out there. And as long as they have quality titles, Ratchet and Clank, this is the one coming up. I think it's out next week. You're probably going to hear about it on the next episode of a Bandit Gamers podcast. You got to have those areas to build that desire, that lust for next gen. Ooh. A little spicy today here. Getting fired up.
I think Carl's
hot talk from last week.
Ooh. Carl's picking that game up, right? Didn't you tell us privately, Carl? And I will put it out there that you plan on playing that one, and you are going to have some updates.
Yeah, I should be able to give an update on Ratchet and Clank next epi, I would hope. Looking forward to it. It's one of the games I've been eyeballing all this time, and Returnal's been great, but it's time for something hopefully a little easier.
I've got a quote here from Herman Hulst at PlayStation. He is the head of PlayStation Studios, and he says you can't build a community of over 110 million PlayStation 4 owners and then just walk away from it, right? I think that'd be bad news for fans of PS4 and frankly, not very good business. Where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5, for Horizon Forbidden West, the next God of War, Gran Turismo 7, we'll continue looking at that. And if PS4 owners want to play that game, then they can. If they want to go on and play the PS5 version, that game will be there for them. That being said, it's also very important to have showpieces for PS5, hence the development of Returnal and Ratchet that are exclusive to PlayStation 5. Any comments?
I mean, that's such a weird quote coming from somebody at PlayStation. It's just such an odd quote to read. But I guess he's not wrong. And beginning of next gens, that first couple of years, you're going to have to cater to both generations, and you need to have an early installment of some of your biggest franchises. You have to build that next gen. It's got to be exciting. So
we know what's going to happen. We know that both Sony and Microsoft are going to meet somewhere in the middle, aren't they?
Yes.
With what they're planning to do. Yeah, Cuphead too. One Cuphead with an Xbox t-shirt on, one little mugman with a PlayStation t-shirt on. Make it Cupman too. Yeah, awesome. But yeah, I think they will end up in a similar situation where They both have these on-demand models. They both have a Game Pass model. They do have some, titles that will run a lot better on the new console. And yeah, you will have a few that maybe. I think even Xbox they'll have to have some games towards the end of the life cycle of the Series X, which is just like, dude, you just can't run this on an Xbox One. The hood will pop and it will start smoking. Like there's just no way. So they have to. There will come a point where they have to draw the line. But as long as you have, I think generations are fine. Carrying on with the box is fine. As your old box dies, you just buy the new one. If you have a PS4 for 10 years, when it breaks, you don't buy a new PS4. You buy a new PS5, don't you? Or you buy the new Xbox. So it all makes sense. I think they're both finding their feet. Need to figure out what the middle ground is. But we just want the games. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think that's inevitable. I totally agree with Xbox. They're going to do that at some point. They're going to put a game that's only playable on their beefier console, but they're also going to have in their back pocket a streaming service available, which I'm now reading rumors of them potentially in bed with Samsung and putting an app on a television. Buy a Xbox controller. You've got a cloud gaming app on your TV. You don't need the box. Just play the game over the cloud right through your TV. And if they were to do that, then put whatever the hell you want wherever the hell you want, because they're just going to try and sell you cloud gaming and Xbox Game Pass anyway. You got a One X, or you got an Xbox One. You don't have the Series X. You can only play the game on Series X. No problem. You've got the controller. Get the app. Sign up for our service. Boom, you're playing our games. You don't need the console. I'm calling it.
Yep. It sounds a little deja vu, but.
I don't think they're announcing that at E3. I think that's a year or two out.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to happen. They're going to start to have their streaming service, I expect, to be very successful for them. If they're working on selling Game Pass right now, whether it's going to be a part of that or not, I don't know. Is it going to be an extra $5? I'm not exactly sure. Right now it's included. If you have Ultimate, you can stream your games over the devices. I would expect an app on a TV to act the same way. You pay your $19, $19.99 a month, or $14.99 a month. See, I haven't even been paying for it. I've been using them points, working out great. But you pay your monthly fee. I think it's $15 here in the States for Ultimate, and then you can play wherever the hell you want. You stream it. I like having the console, but people will do whatever you want with that.
TV app is the next logical place for them to go. And yeah, you're spot on. It'll happen.
It really is. I was playing Game Pass the other day on my phone, and the cloud streaming thing. I signed up for another 3 months of Game Pass for like £1. Yay! I love the PC. The PC Game Pass is ace because you let it lapse a couple of weeks later. It's like, hey, just sign up for £1 for a month. I'm like, okay, I'll do that for Ultimate, and it's like, only get 2 months free. Oh, dude, how'd you make any money out of this? It's bizarre, but I'm happy. So I was sat down the other day. I was having a cup of coffee, and I synced one of the Xbox One controllers to the phone, and I was playing like Forza and playing a bit of like Monster Train because it's ace. And I was thinking to myself, this is perfect. The screen just needs to be bigger. Just bigger screen. That's it. And they'll get there. They will. The technology is not bad. It isn't. It's not perfect, but it's certainly like if you roll back the clock 10 years and you think you're going to be doing this, it's mental.
I play those games on my tablet with the controller, and you've got the little tablet stand, put it in front of you on the coffee table from in a different room, not by the case. It works great. And that screen is big enough compared to a phone. Now it's like 2.5 times the size. All right.
There you go. Get some gaming in while you're catching up on your Netflix shows.
Yeah.
We've got E3 coming up this next week, so lots of news next episode to share.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support us, there's 3 easy ways you can do so, and they're all free. You can tell a friend. That's the best way, honestly. You can leave a review on iTunes or wherever you listen, and you can join us on our Discord server. You can find that link to that on our website, abandofgamers.com. We do have a couple new reviews we wanted to share. Thank you so much to That Stewart and Ruth Osborne. That Stewart gave us 5 stars and said, very aptly put, fantastic pod. Awesome. Yes. Thanks a lot, man.
Oh, yeah. Cheers.
And we got Ruth Osborne, also 5 stars. 3 lovely guys. She must have watched our old YouTube clips. where we're on camera, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Watching the streams.
That's about looks, right? 3 lovely guys, not personalities.
I'm assuming so, right?
I'm kidding, of course.
Episode.
Kidding, of course. 3 lovely guys, informative and just really chilled out. Such a pleasure to listen to their dulcet tones. Keep doing what you're doing. It definitely works. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, that Stuart. We really appreciate them 5-star reviews.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Let's
Fuel
get
in the tank.
Let's get to what we're drinking. What's fueling us this episode besides those 2 great reviews? Alcohol, beer. You know, that pushes us along a little bit because we like to share what we're drinking. We drink some good craft beers responsibly, and we like to talk about them. Those guys are pouring theirs. I haven't even opened mine yet. Who's getting us started? Shane or Carl? Who's starting us off here? Somebody, talk.
I will.
Thank you.
No,
That's me.
It was a race to see who was ready first.
That's exactly what it is. Getting that final.
Don't make me
Getting that
edit.
match.
Come on, man. No dead air. Let's just go. Go.
All right. I got a new one here. This is from Phillips Brewing, and they're in beautiful downtown Victoria, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island. Yes, there's an island out here. And I've had this one before, and I really liked it. Even though I'm not huge on a lot of Phillips different brews, but this one I thought was amazing. And I love the can. I love the art. This is their hazy pale ale. It's called Glitterbomb. And I love it because it's got a mirror ball on it and it has a wick coming out of it, hence the name Glitterbomb. And it's really, really cool. So hazy pale ale, real good, man. Little bit dank, just a little bit. It's not overpowering anything, just a good, crisp, clean, hazy, delicious stuff, man. Yeah, have a few of these, hot afternoon. Oh, it's great stuff. Great stuff. Great beer. Weighs in at 5%. So that's
like Glass Joe's son. That's like it's a youngin.
Yes. Yeah, she's a wee one, but can't go wrong. You can have a few of these and still all right.
Nice. Lightweight then.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, looks probably a bit darker than you'd expect from a 5%er as well, man. Looks good. I've also got a bit of a dank orange delight here. Northern Monk. They do these collaborations every now and again, and occasionally if you're not joined up to their patrons club, you do get the odd one or two that tend to find themselves through to the supermarket, which this one has, and it's a collaboration between them and Stigbergets, which is a Swedish brewery, and this is called Eternal Haze, double dry hops, double IPA, 8%. Fantastic beer. Super smooth and sweet. Loads of like tropical fruit, mango, creamy, not quite like a cream ale, but it's definitely got that kind of sweet aftertaste to it. And then just a tiny little bitterness right at the end. But yeah, fantastic brew. You can grab one of these I forget where I got it from there. Might have been Tesco. About £5, I think, a can, which, probably a little more than you normally pay, but they are limited runs, so grab one while you can.
So 2 hazies. Hazy check. Two check boxes there for hazies. And I go ahead and screw it all up. I have got a West Coast IPA, not hazy. So theirs you can't really see through. Theirs are very fruity looking and have that thick look to mine's clear, right? You can see right through my beer. It's a West Coast IPA. It's kind of more of a typical IPA, but pineier. It's from, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this place. It's called 1840 Brewing.
Okay.
Located in Milwaukee. And they say it's called Couple to Tree. So Couple to Tree. Rather than Couple to Three. Couple to Tree, which my wife told me when we had one of these in the patio last night, that Couple to Three is apparently Wisconsin language. A lot of us here, I don't say that, but she apparently says it. And somebody from a different state recently is like, aha, you're from Wisconsin if you say Couple to Three. But they put a little twist on it. It said Couple to Tree. And apparently Adam.
In a West Coast.
Yeah, the West Coast connection.
Irish.
And they've got a new head brewer there at 1840. His name's Adam. And he spent the majority of his brewing career in California.
Oh.
So they figured we should have Adam make us a West Coast IPA. Sure enough, they did. And if you're a listener for a while here, you know that I like a good West Coast IPA. Love them. And you can't, I'm in Wisconsin. So we kind of just get some poser West Coast IPAs on occasion. We get a couple here and there that are good.
Posers, though.
But every time I go out to California or Vancouver when we went and saw Shane, that's where you get them proper West Coast IPAs. The grocery store is just loaded with them, and I'm just like trying them all, Nice that we got my own here in the Midwest in Milwaukee. And it's delicious. I'm going to raise my glass, take my first sip here. Cheers on these two guys. And thank you very much for listening. If you're in your car and you want to pull over and crack one real quick and raise it and
what?
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But
in your driveway.
No, the comfort.
Take the keys out of the ignition. Get in your house. Cheers.
Cheers. Yay.
This is a very good West Coast IPA too. Adam, you nailed it, bro.
Nice.
You nailed it. I've never met Adam, but obviously a listener like the rest of the world.
Right. Despite being from California.
It's got a little bit of a hoppy, juicy taste too. I'm reading.
I don't think of California when I think West Coast IPAs. I think the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland.
Oh man, I've been when I'm in San Francisco. They represent up there. There's lots of good West Coast IPAs up there. I don't know about LA. I mean, I can't speak for Southern California. I don't know if San Diego is making a good West Coast IPA, but northern-ish California, San Francisco, yeah. Put them on the list.
San Diego's got some good. They got some good hazies down there too. Real crisp and sunny. Glass of sunshine. Get that SoCal action. Let's go, boys.
Well, it's time. I think I have to do more talking, so I'm just putting my beer down here. But I've got my impressions. And Shane, Carl, I'm hoping you guys can ask me a few questions, kind of help flush out this conversation.
Done.
If I don't talk about certain aspects of the console, if you can just ask me, and maybe I'll, help me out here. Come on. The first game I want to talk about is the pack-in, Astro's Playroom. Like I've said on prior episodes, that's the one I wanted to play when I got the PlayStation 5. I want that $500 console so I can play the free pack-in game. That's what I need.
Right.
But as these guys have shared before, it shows off the controller, shows off the 3D sound. It's a game that demonstrates what the console's capable of, specifically that controller, while being a love letter to prior PlayStation franchises, which I think that game does a heck of a job of. You see the Metal Gear Solid references, the Killzone references, the Uncharted references, Ratchet and Clank are in there. I could go on and on and on. There's like
Jack and Daxter, Ico, Shadow of the Colossus. Loco Roco. The little cat.
The duck
dude from Japan, the original mascot.
That floating duck game from PlayStation 3.
Yep.
With the motion control. Remember that?
So many. It's endless. I think there's like over 60 like little hidden Easter eggs all throughout the PlayStation life.
Do you not think it does a great job though? Because obviously these little astrobots, so they are, the dude you're controlling is a generic astrobot, right? But when they put all these little nods in and they've got on with a little hat on or a little outfit, it helps bulk that character up. Like, you get a feel for what they're all like. Like, it kind of gives them a little bit more lore, if that makes sense. Like, it just helps give them an identity, I think, as you play through, and just put a smile on your face, really.
But there's not only are there the nods to the classic franchises from PlayStation's history, but you can collect bits as you're playing through, and you actually collect the consoles themselves: PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4 Pro, and PSP, and PS Vita. And then they put them in like your central hub in the game, Labos, whatever the hell that little area is called, and it's like a little museum. And then you can walk up with your Astrobot and interact with those consoles. You could pop the disk drive open for the old open up PlayStation 3. You can, put your face into the VR unit and see yourself back at you. A lot of cool little trophies in that too. Just mucking around in that room gave me a lot of trophies.
Right? How wild is that? The little Labo. Like even on the old PS2, when you can change the direction that the PS logo is on them, and if you go up to the console and punch it and it switches and whatnot, little minute things like that they've thought of is incredible. Like you're not expecting that, let alone Jill said the consoles that you unlock and whatnot, they are in an incredible detail.
Oh yeah. And
when you zoom in on them and take a look, like they spared nothing detailing their history. And even down to stuff that, a lot of in the West we never really saw, like, the Pocket Station, the GPS add-on for the PSP, the camera add-on for the PSP, stuff like that. Like it's all covered in this game. They thoroughly go through, like like Joel said, it's a love letter to PlayStation, and I think that gets kind of lost sometimes when people think of Astro's Playroom or whatnot. I know people that have gotten their consoles and eventually have you played it. It's it's a great pack and titles. Now I deleted it. I had to make room. It's like if you're a PS5, that's great and all, and you know what we're talking about if you've played through it. When you get a PS5, do yourself a favor and play through this game first. Let this be the first thing you play through, because it's the amount of thought and detail put into it, deserves that playthrough. It deserves your time.
I agree. Have you played through it, Shane? I mean, I kind of compared trophies the other day.
I have, because Joel mentioned he had gotten some trophies of it, and I know Carl's gotten some trophies. I believe Carl platinumed it, so I felt like I had to do the same.
There you go.
So I hammered through it the past few days and enjoyed every minute of it, getting all those trophies.
Sorry to call you out, but I kind of had to there.
Oh yeah. You have to, right?
I'm glad we all three played it. And back to the controller. So you've got the touchpad on the top. That's part of the game. There's a mechanic for that. You've got the motion control. I didn't expect the full motion control. Not something I think about much anymore. The Joy-Cons do that on the Switch. Kind of gimmicky. I don't really use it a whole lot. But in this Astro's Playroom, that was front and center for quite a bit of the gameplay. And then the haptic feedback on the triggers. That took a little getting used to. So there's a spot in the game where you collect coins, and then you go into the labo area, and you go up to a little machine. You got to pull lever back, and then it's almost like an arm goes and grabs a little toy kind of thing, and you have to use the other hand to grab it and drop it. But I couldn't figure out how to use that damn machine. I'm in there. I've got all these coins. I'm like, why is this not working? What am I doing wrong? It tells me to hit left 2, or I think it's left 2. Like, hit that. I'm hitting it. Nothing's happening. Aha, yeah, haptic feedback. You have to pull harder. It's pushing on me, so that a regular button press is not doing anything, but you pull down harder with the friction pushing at you, and then the arm goes and grabs. It's a little trinket. And then you use the other haptic feedback trigger to grab it, hold it. Nice touch, but was throwing me off for a minute. I'm like, whoa,
right?
That's a great demonstration of that those triggers and that haptic feedback.
Yeah. There's something about the resistance and the way it works with the sound. When you're in the one suit where it's like a spring, isn't it? You're jumping up and down, and as you pull the trigger down, you hear the sound of the spring kind of compressing, and you feel you don't feel the spring, but you just feel the vibration. There's some magic between the actual vibration of the controller and then the sound of the spring. Makes it feels like you are pressing a spring down, and it's bizarre. I think it's so well done. And it is gimmick. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you're going to get annoyed by it in a lot of games, but I just had a smile on my face. Like, that's cool, and that's what you want from a new console. It's like it's fun. It's new. It's cool.
And there's different levels where Astro puts on a suit. So you get a monkey suit, you're a spaceship, the spring thing that Carl just said, and then there's a little ball that you roll around almost like Marble Madness or something, which you use the touchpad for that at the top to push it, go side to side with it. The monkey suit, when he puts that on, you got to climb up stuff, and he's got to reach each arm, but you got to tilt the controller, use like the right trigger is your right arm, the left trigger is your left arm, and it's grabbing each of these, it's like wall climbing or something. You're grabbing little bits to climb up a wall. But there's a couple points where if you grab too hard, you break the grab point. It regenerates, but you can use the trigger, just touch it lightly to not break that, to progress. Also a nice touch with the triggers. I can see the triggers being something, that haptic feedback, that is not going to be gimmicky as much as it's going to be a useful tool for video games. The touchpad that you use for that little ball, that to me, that's gimmicky. I don't think a lot of games are going to use the touchpad. But those haptic feedback triggers, I think that could be something that they utilize. Could be great in first-person shooters. Could be great in any other shoot. You could be a bow and arrows. That mechanic, I think, is that gameplay controller mechanic is going to be a great addition to PlayStation 5. Motion controls, I don't know. I'm not sure we'll use those much beyond this Astro's Playroom. But those triggers, those are the real deal.
Yeah, those triggers, playing Borderlands 3 and having the feedback adjust to different weapons is really impressive. And I think when a game like Horizon Forbidden West comes out, I think that's really going to shine with that controller. I think that's one that we should really keep our eye on when it comes to the haptic feedback.
Yeah, anything that can enable you to differentiate between the things that you're doing without actually looking at the screen for that particular. Like when you change your weapons, like you're saying, the shotgun feels different to the SMG. What you're using just by pressing the button, and it's the same with Returnal. You've the way that the trigger locks in, and you have to press it all the way down to use your special, your secondary rate fire in the gun. Otherwise it just feels like there's a natural stop, a hard stop there for your normal aiming down the sights. It's only when you squeeze that down to get, you actually activate your secondary. So I think there's a lot of scope to play around with that, and I think you're right, Joel. That could be pretty cool, useful in a lot of different genres as well. But yeah, the trackpad is the trackpad. I mean, we had it on the PS4, didn't really use it, did we? Let's be fair.
Yeah, good controller though. And the other important part to mention with the controller is the new rumble capabilities. Functions quite differently. Reminds me of the Switch. The Switch doesn't get a lot of credit for this, but it has very advanced rumble tech in the Switch. And being a Switch owner and having used that, it feels similar to what the PlayStation 5 is doing with their rumble. I really like that. And Carl had mentioned on a prior episode the scene, and I was waiting to get to it in the game. He piqued my interest so much when he talked about it. The scene where you get to where it's raining, and he said you can actually feel like the pitter patter of the raindrops falling down. That's it. Totally. That has like the rumble has like a 3-dimensional feel to it. You can feel it kind of from below, from above. Makes a huge difference.
I really noticed it there's a level where it's kind of an ice level. As as a kid growing up, there's an ice level in the game, we got to play that. And Astrobot just naturally has ice skates on, and you start skating, and you could kind of feel the blade through the ice. It was really, really subtle, but I could feel it there, and they just kept skating around there. Man, that's really cool. If they added something like that with NHL, that would be amazing. But they probably won't. But one can dream.
Same effect with that I had with the Switch. After a while, initially it's amazing. Like, holy crap, that rumble is so awesome. But after like 20 hours with the Switch, it's just rumble. You get used to it. Yeah. And it's happening with me and the PlayStation 5 as well. Initially, it's like, wow, that's really cool. But now it's just starting to feel like regular rumble to me. It's kind of worn off. The spectacle or how awesome it was is sort of worn off. And that's where I think the haptic triggers are going to be. I think that's going to last a lot longer. Everything in that controller, it's those triggers, I think, that are going to make the biggest difference to gameplay. The rumble's already kind of, it's rumble. It's cool.
Second nature now, too.
Yeah, it's just rumble,
That's what it is. I mean, it's become a party, that rumble.
Yeah.
And then you go into the next game, you fire up, Wreckfest or whatever, and then you start feeling the rumble that is different there than in Astro's Playroom or the next game, where it's just a little bit different. It just it's very adaptive. I think that's really cool. And I think that part of the rumble could be really interesting going forward. But, rumble's been around for 3 generations now, 4. So
yeah. It's not new, but it's just how it's utilized, I suppose, makes all the difference.
But Astro's Playroom, great game. I'd say worth $40. And the fact that they pack it in there, I got 10 hours out of that, roughly 9 hours playing that game. Played all the way through it, got all the trophies. I got the platinum. That's my e-penis, y'all. I got the platinum trophy in that one. And it's easy. You just got to invest the time. Put 8 hours in and you get all those trophies. And that the system, now it's more on the PlayStation 5, the interface where you can pull up hints. So if I couldn't find something in the level, I could hit the PlayStation button. It would bring up a hint screen and show me a video akin to like looking it up on YouTube, right? Instead of having to go look it up on YouTube or look it up on GameFAQs site, because it's a first-party game, because this game is trying to show you all capabilities of this console, it's in there. You can press the PlayStation button. it knows which trophy I'm missing. So rather than me having to say, I got 4 of the 5 bits or 3 of the 4 bits, let me figure out which of the 4 I'm missing. Let me watch that video. Nope. It didn't even show me the other 3 that I've already got. It showed me the one that I don't have. This is where you get that item that you're missing. And it was right there. I hit the button. It's on the furthest most left choice. I watched the video. I know exactly where I need to go. I love that feature. I don't have to use that, but that was fantastic. And that's kind of built into the PlayStation interface. And we expect to see first-party support for that, like we did here in Astro. And I'm sure Ratchet and Clank probably have that as well.
I was using that to get some of the last collectibles, the artifacts and whatnot. And as I was using it, I was at my buddy B on the horn, and I even mentioned to him, I was like, every time I look at that and I see the video, I'm naturally looking behind me on my coffee table where I would normally have my phone set up, watching a YouTube video to try to find the last collectible. So it was just muscle memory. Like I kept looking back, yet it's right there on the screen. It's just so. That's the first time I used it, going through just trying to get the platinum for this, and that's so cool. That is really, really cool.
I did use my phone for some of the other trophies to get the platinum. You had to interact with some of the stuff in the museum. Go up and look at the VR unit, see your reflection. You get a trophy for that. Fire up a console, you get a trophy for that. I had to actually go to a GameFAQs for that. Maybe that was built in. I was going to ask you guys if you found it in the game, but it seems like the archive or the finding the stuff was in there. I can't think of the right words right now. I'm so excited talking about this.
That I had to fire up the old YouTube on just to have a little bit more clarification of what you had to do, like standing on the highest tip of like the motion controller, because they got the
guns,
motion gun peripherals all hanging up, and you got to get to the highest one. But yeah, there was a couple that I had to look up as well, but so much fun going through and just seeing the history just kind of all laid out there. Just a really, really neat, great little packing game.
Yep. Great game. 8 hours got the platinum. So that's my second platinum.
Wow.
Maybe my last one. Who knows?
No, dude.
Oh, he said that he was going to be his last after the first one.
But I noticed after I got the platinum that in the trophy, looking up the trophies, there's DLC trophies, which threw me off. I'm like, there's no DLC in this game, right? I didn't find any, or maybe it said add-on. There's no add-ons. The add-ons in this game is after you beat the game, and while you beat the levels, they open up. You can go do like speed runs, but not speed run of the level you just completed. A speed run in the same type of world. It's a different path, a different platforming path. But there's speed runs, and you have to get through all 8 of those, get a good time, and then this is the last trophy to get to my 100%. I got the platinum, but I wanted it to say 100% completed on the trophy view, right? And I had to get through all 8 speed runs within less than 7 minutes total. So nice. I went and did that because I wanted it, even though I had the platinum, I wanted the 100%. To me, the 100% was almost as important as the platinum.
Yeah. I know, because you get some of those like games that's got the platinum and it only says like 66%.
Yeah,
because there's all the
that feels DLC dirty to me.
It does feel dirty. Game. Yeah, Assassin's Creed, it definitely.
Borderlands.
Right, Drive Club.
Yeah, that felt dirty to me. I'm like, I got a plat, but it says 80% or 78% or 82%. I'm like, that ain't right.
Just a quick question, obviously, and if you haven't played to the end of Astro, this is a minor spoiler, I suppose. But obviously, you're playing through this game, and it's a lot of nostalgia. Brings a smile to your face, like loving it. And then you get to the bonus bit where you kind of go underground and you get to fight the T-Rex from the original. I can't remember what it was now. Was it the original concept
tech demo? It's a tech demo
for PS1, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and it comes out like, and that was tough. That took me by surprise. The difficulty of that fight compared to the rest of that game. I was like, oh yeah, this will be quite straightforward. And you had to go all the way through, and you died. I was like, no cheap and easy save points. Just wondering how long that took you.
2 attempts. It gives you 3 lives, so it's not like
you get a health meter.
Yeah, you get a health meter, which essentially I think is like 3 lives or no, 3 hits.
Yeah,
I think twice, 2 or 3 times, but it was the rest of the game was kind of cake.
Yes.
I mean, there was points where it was difficult, but once you figure out the mechanics, usually how to manipulate the controller effectively to get through the levels, it's a very simple platformer with lots of looking around and just enjoying the history of PlayStation. But I really love the game. I'm glad it's the first one I played, and I didn't want to play anything else until I beat it, until I got through the whole thing. It just felt
nice.
I felt like I had to, and I was just having a good time with it. I enjoyed it enough to never put it aside. Always have it be the focus. Usually a new shiny, I'm always off in the store buying Spider-Man, buying Bloodborne. Like, screw it, I'll just try everything. Well, if I have 6 games on here and I'll play 2 of them. Like, no, I'm going to focus it on Astro's Playroom, get through this, and then buy something else. The other thing I did, and I picked up, I've got the Astro A50s headsets, and that's compatible. Yeah, that's compatible with the Xbox Series X. So I was able to, it connects differently, but the same headset I had for the Xbox One and Xbox One X works with the Series X. On the PlayStation 5, for my A50s, I have to buy a little connector box that routes HDMI through it and then back to the console in order to use that headset, which I ordered from Astro. I'm like, the A50s, and thanks to that listener that gave the tip, you just buy another base. You keep the same headset, because the A50 is like $300, I believe, $299. But if you buy the little base for the PlayStation, you can take the Xbox A50 headset, have it work on the PlayStation. You just have to put it in that little base. So you save money. Maybe that's $60 or $100 or something for the base. So my $300 headset with a $100 add-on, let's just say roughly, works on both consoles. But it does not have 3D audio. The A50s, the premium $300 headset, does not have 3D audio through PlayStation 5. So for $100, I went and I got the Pulse 3D wireless headset for the PlayStation. I wanted to experience that 3D sound. Because if I'm going to talk about PlayStation on ABOG, I want to hear the 3D sound, right?
Right.
So I picked that up. Pretty cool, man. It's not only typical headsets have the left, right, back, front surround sound, but with the 3D sound. And I didn't know what 3D sound even meant. I never really read up on it. I'm like, okay, so what? Back, front, left, right. Yeah, we all have that. Great. You're just going to call it 3D.
Exactly.
Okay. No, what 3D is, though, is they add above and below to the audio. And Astro's Playroom used it very well. But you'd hear stuff coming at you from above, coming at you from below, and left and right, front and back. It was pretty cool. 3D audio. So that headset, $100 headset, it's worth it. It's a great headset. Is it going to be as awesome as the A50s or these really high-end Dolby headsets? No, probably not. But not all of those headsets, like my A50s, not all of them have the 3D audio. So if you want that proprietary, if you want the proper triggers like the PlayStation 5 controllers give you in their audio format, get a headset that supports it. And from what I understand, a lot of the headsets do support the 3D audio. You don't have to buy the Pulse. I had to buy the Pulse because my headset doesn't support that 3D audio.
Correct. Okay.
And I wanted to try it out. But it's really cool. The 3D audio, kind of like the Rumble, after a while, you just get used to it. But when you first discover it, it's like, wow, that's pretty wild. And I'm anxious to play more first-party games, how they're going to use the 3D audio, how they're going to use the haptic feedback on the controllers. But really cool. $100 headset. Sounds good. Sounds almost as good as my $300 headset. For a $100 headset, that's a good price for a good headset. I have not tried the microphones. I'm not a big online playing multiplayer guy. I have no idea. I've read in reviews, they're just okay. It doesn't have, my A50s has a little boom arm that comes by the mouth. The Pulse headset just has the built-in on the cups, apparently 2 microphones, but nothing coming out to the mouth. So it has to somehow grab your vocals from those 2 microphones, and may not work as well from what I'm reading. I'll have to try that.
Okay, good to know. I've kind of hovered over the buy button a few times with the Pulse 3Ds, just for that audio. I don't really like gaming with.
Yeah.
Well, I got the mic going. I want to hear what's going on as well. So I'm not a big headset gamer, but there's going to be certain games where it's really going to, show that technology off. And not only that, I listen to a lot of music through my PS5 as well, through a USB stick. I'm wondering the 3D audio, what it's going to do to some music files as well. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a huge.
Sure.
I've never been a big headset guy either, Shane. But once you have a good pair of like those A50s are great, those Astros. Once you have a good headset, it's like now whenever I play video games, and if I want to get that full immersion, I put the headset on. Even though I've got a really nice Bose speaker, one of those speaker bars underneath my TV, it works great. But if I want that full immersion, and I want to get sucked into a game for like an hour, I'm putting the cans on.
Nice.
Strapping the two speakers to my ears, doing it right.
Right, dust off those candies. Let's go,
you can have the cans. I've looked at those Sony the PS5 headphones before. The Steel Series, the Arctis 7s, they do the 3D audio. It's pretty great.
Cool.
And then I've looked at just a wireless solution just for the console, because when you've got stuff on other things and the battery dies and whatever else, I tend to use I forget what they are, these Sony ones that I've got on me, but I don't know I can't remember what make they are, but Sony wireless headphones for all my music needs, and they're killer. They're so good.
Nice.
But I'd have to get a separate dongle to pair into the PlayStation, and God knows if they'd use 3D audio or not. So whenever I look at those Sony ones, the first party ones, and they look a bit fragile. Like that's the only thing that gets me. Like for $100, I'm like they feel quite plasticky. But how comfortable were they, mate? Were they without getting into a hardware review, do they feel good on the head?
Yeah, they are a little bit more plasticky and thin, and they're a cheaper feel compared to the $300 A50s. They're almost as comfortable. The cups are a little small, and I have, unfortunately, a older Polish gentleman. My ears are getting bigger, son of a bitch, as I get older.
Same.
So they don't fit my ear completely, where the Astro A50s kind of fit all the way around my ears. They fit them a little tighter, so I can feel a little uncomfortable after a while. I don't think these are headphones I can wear for 3 hours, but for short sessions, I think they work pretty well. The cushions are really soft and comfortable. They just don't go completely around the ear, which can cause a little bit of push or pressure. And they're not adjustable. I couldn't figure out how to adjust them. So there's like your Steel Series, Carl. There's a little piece that comes. You have the overall plastic arch over your head, but then you have that little piece that kind of comes in between that serves to kind of fit nicely on your head. I couldn't adjust anything, so I couldn't figure that out. So they fit me okay, but I feel like if I could adjust them a little bit, they might feel a little bit more comfortable. So yeah, they're a little chintzier compared to the rest, but from an audio perspective, the speakers sound pretty decent. They're really good, I thought.
Yeah, cool.
So I own both consoles, Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, and I wanted to kind of compare and contrast the two, or I wanted to maybe say what felt different about them. And it's too soon for me to say. I'm going to need a year with the PlayStation 5 and a year with the Series X before I say which one is better. And I think they're both great for different reasons. When I first got the Xbox Series X, the setup of that thing was a piece of cake. You do it through your phone. It zaps your old dashboard right to that console. Everything is where you expect it to be. Nothing changed. And that was great. Like I am up and running. I know where everything is, how everything functions. Wonderful. What I like about the PlayStation 5 is they give you an upgraded system interface. It's different. Yeah. It feels like a new console. I didn't think the Xbox Series X was a problem the way they did it, but now I kind of wish they would have made it something a little bit different. Made it a little bit more special. You've just bought the $500 console. Give me Yeah, thank you. New. And the PlayStation 5 did a nice job of that. It functions for the most part, except for those couple niggles I just shared, like you'd expect it to. Yeah. But it gives you you feel like you're on a new console. And I like that. It feels like a different machine. Whereas Xbox Series X, it's the same old. Great. Until I got on this and I'm like, oh, yeah, Xbox should have did something a little bit more. It's nice to have when you have the new machine, you should have the new lick of paint that Carl just said.
And Xbox, they've upgraded their interfaces, during console life cycles as well, right? So
and it's real snappy. I mean, that's where Xbox has gotten better. Yeah. It just runs like super slick. It's kind of the same as it's been for a while. It's just quicker. things are more, they move things around a little bit. It's more logical, but it's kind of more of a tiled look. So it's always kind of logical, whereas PlayStation's got the lines, and it's a little getting used to. But overall, I'm digging the PlayStation 5. Glad I picked it up. Got the digital. I just picked up Spider-Man Miles Morales. I just bought that.
No,
I was gonna wait and get Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and maybe I'll, depending on how my week shakes out and how busy I am, maybe I'll end up playing that ahead of the Miles Morales. But it was on sale. It was $10 off right now for Spider-Man Miles Morales. I grabbed that. I do plan on checking that one out as well. I'd love Spider-Man on the PS4. So
cool. Yeah, I still got that on my list. I'm waiting for a little bit better deal on. I want to get the full package. I want the full Pandini. Give me both. I want that Miles Morales and I want the Spider-Man. Because I've heard if you put Spider-Man in, the trophies just start popping. Let's go. Let's get that dirty plat.
Does it really?
Right. So I want the full package, man. I love that Spider-Man game. So I want to at least be able to swing around in glorious 4K, I guess, or whatever.
Just faster, 60 frames and smooth. I think the other one might have been 60 frames. I don't know. It's supposed to be an upgraded experience.
Yeah. Well, cool, man.
There you go.
Glad you're liking it.
Any questions to help push that conversation forward, or is that hit on all the points pretty well? Loaded question.
You nailed it, bud.
I didn't mean it to be a loaded question.
I think so.
No.
I mean, obviously, you've only played Astro for like 8 hours. The one major drawback, I think, as much as I love this controller, battery life is pretty poor. Like,
you're right.
It needs,
can't be worse than the DualShock 4.
Yeah,
that was awful.
It feels worse though. Like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
there's a lot of tech in there, right?
I think using for Astro's Playroom. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carl, but I charged my controller all last night, and then this morning I did the speed runs on Astro, and it required me to use the touchpad on one of the levels.
Yeah,
I was playing for like a half an hour, and it was already a bar low on battery after I charged it all last night. I'm like, wait a second. So it must be like using all the bits and pieces of the controller requires more battery power or something. I don't know, but you're right.
I mean, I think I booted up Returnal and I was like, right, I've got to, because I finally got the bloody first boss done. So I was like, right, okay, yeah, this game's hard. It's great though. And I booted it up and like the controller was fully, I think it was probably 2 bars. And by the time I'd done maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 3/4, and it was literally flashing like it's about to die. And I was like, oh, good God. I mean, I've only got one. To be fair, if I had a second controller, I wouldn't even think about it because I've always got one that's fully charged. But, it's when you've only got that one controller and you think, man, it really hits home how poor the battery life is. So, yeah, that was noticeable for me, to be honest.
I did notice that. I've been actually thinking about buying a second controller for that very reason. But that red one's coming soon, and the red one looks really sharp. So I might just hold out.
The Villa one.
Yeah, the Aston Villa controller. I might hold out for that. I want to be that guy now.
Controller.
By all the colors. No, I'm not. But I do need a second controller would be nice for the wife and I to play something together, and the battery thing. One dies. And I do the same with Xbox. The battery's pretty good on that controller, but I still want another one just in case it goes dead or I haven't did my prep work and charged it ahead of time. Just get one of these gaming sessions unexpectedly and all of a sudden the battery's dead and it's like, oh crap.
Exactly.
But hey, Xbox you can put batteries in too.
Batteries, yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah, I keep, I'm a planned individual. I'm obsessive compulsive. I've got packages of batteries all over the place. 9 volts, AA, AAA. I got them all, man. They're ready to go.
You crack the floorboards open, it's just a stash of batteries.
Right. Controller runs out of battery.
Just go around Joel's.
Let's grab some AA's and I'm rolling. Yeah, it's more expensive, but I can play my games. Actually, to be fair though, on the Xbox, I bought the little jumper pack. I got the little rechargeable dude. And then I've got a Elite controller, Elite 2, and that's rechargeable. So I'm charging both of those controllers as well because of the battery pack situation.
There you go. Bandit Gamers Podcast, not brought to you by Kirkland Merlot. AA batteries.
Any battery that sounds like a bottle of wine is great from my point of view.
Right.
Sounds like a vineyard, Kirkland.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, whenever I think of Casco, right? It's just Casco. It's always that Kirkland signature, that Kirkland Merlot, 100-month-old,
100-month. I'm going to do the math here.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't have my calculator present. I've got some 13s, some 12s in my wine rack. And every time I open one of those, and we're veering way the hell off topic here, but you got to let air out. You got to let that breathe a while. Otherwise, it's bite you. But man, once you let that breathe and you get like a good 8-year, 9-year-old wine, awesome. Awesome.
Half a pound of cheese to go with it.
Oh, yeah. You always got to have the cheese. That's what we do in Wisconsin, though.
Cheese wheel.
Wisconsin. All right, y'all. That's, y'all, I just pulled some Southern reference there. That's it for this episode.
Right.
Anything you guys want to add? We got E3 next time. We've got potentially Ratchet and Clank, and I'm not saying Carl's not going to follow through. He will. He always does. But will we get to it? How big will E3 be? Will we have time to get to Ratchet and Clank? Or are we just going to have a 400 minute episode?
Probably. It's got to be all news. It's going to be interesting, though, isn't it? Because especially in this age that we're living in at the moment, it's all digital. Everyone's at home. There's all these countless little shows. Sony have one to show 15 minutes of Ratchet and Clank. So, I mean, how much new stuff is there going to be?
There could be a lot.
It's going to be interesting.
Xbox / Bethesda could really have a lot to talk about there. And PlayStation, and I didn't give them credit for this earlier, and now's a good time to do so. They've got a lot of new IPs coming. Whether or not they share them this E3 or a different time, I don't know. But they have a very full cupboard of new IPs apparently coming our way, as PlayStation does. It's why the PlayStation fanboys love those consoles. They bring the games. And apparently, that same PlayStation blog post of Herman Hulst, I shared the quote earlier, I think he said like 15, I forget the number, new IPs in the works.
25, I think.
25.
It was something pretty crazy. So whether 15, 25,
both are a lot. 25 is a lot more than 15 even. Crap. I mean, so
ish.
It could be a real busy through E3, I think. Carl, we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy summer because you got that and Tokyo Game Show and all sorts of stuff coming. And hopefully they just finally announce and unlock the internal expansion that we can start using on the PS5. Because those giggies, they go fast. They go fast, Mr. Straczynski. Got to manage that data, son.
You know what I don't want to see? PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series Z. Stop. Just leave us alone for a couple years now, please. Enough's enough. I spent my money. I paid your salaries. Let's calm down with the stuff. First. Stop it.
Yeah. It's all about the games. I know you're playing.
Kick ass. Well, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. Look forward to being back with you in 2 weeks and with these two guys for another beer or two and a nice, great chat about E3. Until next time. Cheers.
See ya.
Man, it sounded really old and like I was struggling to lift my glass. Cheers, everybody.
Get a little long in the teeth there.
Back in my day, games were on the TV.
You used to have to adjust to rabbit ears to play them games.
Oh, you too.